Hello there! Before we actually get into the video, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who helped support it. I did make a little community post saying that, but I thought if I'm doing this video as well, I might as well just say it as well. I said as well a lot there, sorry about that. So yeah, thank you all very much for the support. Now, I've made this video because I found a lot of responses to both of these videos, but in particular the Marvel Zombies one, quite funny. And yeah, I just wanted to take a look at them. So I actually want to start off by saying that I was actually wrong about something, and I will admit to that. One of the criticisms I had was I found it a bit weird by how comedic Kamala's reaction was to seeing Captain Marvel as a zombie, considering in the mainline MCU that's her idol basically. But the thing is, Captain Marvel wasn't really a public figure. She didn't do what she did in Endgame and help to save the universe, so not many people know who she is. So it would actually make sense for Kamala to not really know who she is and to have that sort of reaction to her, because to her this is just a godlike being that's come out of nowhere that's attacking her. So yeah, I was wrong about that, and there we go. So you see, it's good to get these reviews out because people can pick apart the reviews and, you know, try and make actual more concrete arguments. I still think it's completely bollocks that Captain Marvel somehow got infected, considering she can fly through spaceships and tank the Power Stone blasts without getting killed, especially considering that later Kate shoots her with the trick arrow, which is just an arrow that has like a party popper on the end, so not sure how any of that works. But you see, we've gone through it again, and I found more criticisms and I've retracted one, so it's all well and good. So this is an interesting one. Bucky ain't dead. LOL. Well, the last time we saw him wander through him about 50 feet in the air, and then he landed in a massive crowd of zombies where he was surrounded on all sides, so I don't see how he's living through that. But then again, this is the What If team, so he'll probably just survive out of sheer bullshit. No one can replace Chadwick Boseman, no one can play Black Panther as he did, and the reason why they had him have the emotional moment is to honour Chadwick. I know that's the reason why they had the emotional moment, I said that in the video, and no, anyone can play T'Challa, okay? They might not play him as well, but some person might play him better. You don't know because they won't fucking recast him for some reason. It's a character. You need to get over it at some point. Don't get it twisted, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but it really sounds like you just hate everything Marvel and you gave this no chance. Marvel cooked on this one. Zombies had me entertained this whole time, I'm down for a season 2. I did give this a chance, I gave it a chance when I watched it. Watching it is giving it a chance. If I didn't want to give it a chance, I just wouldn't watch it. But no, I did watch it, and I even commented on some of the stuff I enjoyed, including the jokes, which as we know, MCU humour has gotten insufferable recently. But at the end of the day, I still just thought it was a bad show. That's all there is to it. I can understand hating the show, but the What If episode was great. You're talking just to talk at this point. I didn't say I hated the What If episode. I said it wasn't amazing, but I said it was a lot better than some of the other seasons of What If. And I mean, seasons 2 and 3 of What If are pretty shit, so yeah, I'm saying it's decent, it's average. I don't hate it. I don't know where people got that from. The whole Hulk thing is kind of misunderstood. He isn't a master of using the stones, he's basically just retaining the power and holding it back. And when he fights, it lashes out. Keep in mind, Hulk snapping with the gauntlet still hurt his arm, where he couldn't even instantly heal it a decent bit of time. So how you could think of it as his healing factor is working triple time to just keep him from instantly keeping clapped, and when the Asgardian zombies cut into him, he has to focus to heal instead because he's constantly taking damage, and if Wanda makes him lose control of it by touching him, she can use it to amplify herself. This also isn't Professor Hulk, this is Old Hulk, so it really was just a matter of time before Wanda tactically outsmarted a brute. So the thing about getting the stones is that when people get them, they seem to just acquire innate knowledge and tactics on how to use the stones. We've seen it in previous films and we've seen it in the What If series itself. When people get the stones, they seem to be able to master them extremely quickly. So having Hulk with the power of the stones, I feel like whether or not he's a brute, they should be giving him the same amount of knowledge because that's how it's worked previously, so I don't know why they'd have an exception. And I mean, the thing is, with Infinity Ultron, we saw that he was basically like a living Infinity Gauntlet himself. He took the stones into himself so he could use all of them at the same time, and he had no problems using them, so I don't know why the same thing wouldn't apply to Hulk here. I mean, At the end of the day, all of the power of the stones is inside him at this point, and he seems to have sentience. So I'm considering he can fight. Why can't he just snap his fingers and just correct everything? That's my main point here. He is living, he is sentient, he has all the power of the stones inside himself. So just use them. So you haven't even watched the series and you already know that it's a bad series. Plus when it comes to New Asgard, since this episode What If 5 years have passed, what are you talking about? You know, like, you can reword stuff and like add grammar. You don't have to just shit out what you're thinking. I mean, I said at the start of my video, that was written and edited separately to the rest of the video. That was me giving my initial impressions and a rewatch of the What If episode, and then the rest was the review. I don't know how I could have made that more clearer. I watched the show. That happened. I don't know what you're droning on about. And New Asgard, yeah, 5 years has passed. And in Endgame, they were living on a world that wasn't completely hostile to them, and they were still just living in like villages off the coast. And yet here, when they're on a hostile planet that wants to kill them, they've somehow managed to carve into a mountain and create this massive palace that's heavily fortified. It makes no sense. Dude, the more you think about the series and events, the worse the show is. Like, you're telling me that Peter and the sorcerers had 5 years where they could have had, I don't know, to plan something, ways of protecting Banner, defense mechanisms, something when Wanda decided to attack, and they didn't come up with anything. I'm not going to get onto the rest of that sentence, because obviously that's just what that person would have written in, but like, yeah, what have the sorcerers been doing for 5 years? Even if Wanda's just started to kind of get this sentience and go after the stones, they're still aware. They still could have planned for this, but no, they just sat around doing nothing. And even if Wanda wasn't sentient, you've got all of the Infinity Stones and their power right there. Like, why aren't you helping to guard that? I find it funny how people say this show's bad, but when people who are fans of Marvel watch it, they have nothing but praise and gripes about the ending. Or at least that's my experience with real people anyways. This video will age as badly as your Marvel What If Season 2 review. You can make good content, Lumar, say things I genuinely agree with because, well, you would be right. But here? Yeah, let's say I'm glad I had an A/B on for this one. I've got no idea why people didn't like this show besides this is bullshit. And yeah, Infinity Hulk realistically would not lose, but that doesn't knock the whole show down because of one thing or a controversial ending. Hell, I like The Last of Us Part 2, and after finally understanding the ending after playing it a second time, it's my favourite game of the PS4 era. I'm not saying rewatch this show if you didn't like it, you can do what you want. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like the ending the more I watch it again. But to each their own, we can all have good and bad takes, even you, with this god-awful take. Oh, you like The Last of Us Part 2? Baby's first revenge bad plot? You like The Last of Us Part 2? Oh, that's sweet. That's kind. I mean, you literally contradict yourself. You point out that Hulk shouldn't have lost. That's the crux of this storyline. The Hulk loses, and Wanda gets what she wants. You're saying, yeah, I know that the biggest thing about this show doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it's still good. Like, come on. Wait, what happened with the Soul Stone they got from Vision? They didn't get the Soul Stone from Vision, they got the Mind Stone. But to answer your question, T'Challa decides to take it, and then he runs at Thanos with it, and he fights him, and then Thanos steals it from his hand, and he gets all 6 of the Infinity Stones. And then they all get destroyed. And so yeah, the cliffhanger ending that was from the original What If episode, just completely pointless, really. Nah, because how does a Wakandan warrior beat a Valkyrie? Absolutely, yeah, again, you see, the more you go through it, the more you're just finding shit that does not make sense. How does Valkyrie lose to Okoye? Like, that is so fucking stupid. She's a regular human with regular human physiology with a spear. And you're telling me that Valkyrie struggled with her when she was, like, ripping apart spaceships in Thor Ragnarok. I can't tell you why they did this, they just do it. You are the only person I've seen saying this was bad, and amazingly you're wrong. Shocker. Thank you for going through my video and telling me exactly what I was wrong about. That's very helpful criticism. Thank you very much. 10 out of 10 rage bait. Again, just thank you for pointing out where I was just making rage bait and none of my criticisms were valid. Thank you for pointing that out. Like, do people not understand? I'm not Andy Pants Gamer. I'm not Synthetic Man. I'm not some fucking mongoloid who has to go woke, DEI, in order to review something. Like, I give praise when I think it gets praise. I give criticism when I think it gets criticism. It's not rage bait. I just think it's a bad show. My only issue with this is Riri being the only person to apparently make a cure, which is stupid because how does she make one and not any other genius? And also Wanda not actually remaking reality if that was her goal was stupid. With all of the Infinity Stones which could do that, her power and the bangle which we've seen is powerful, should have been more than enough to remake everything and fix shit. Instead, it seems like they want to drag it out for a second season. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, you've nailed it on the head. There's no reason why Wanda wouldn't just remake the universe in her image. We know they can do that. But no, it's just this illusion shit and they're gonna drag it out for a second season. Again, with Riri, I don't know if that makes any sense or not. We'll have to see. It seems like she's got some sort of cybernetics on her arm instead. But that could just be the gun she was using. So if she does cure the infection, that is quite dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Wanda even needed Kamala in the first place. She has the stones, just use that, you know? It isn't well written. That's what I'm saying. I doubt Scott saw it because 1, Hank was really small and 2, Scott was fighting zombies. So when Hank gets killed by Blade, it happens because Scott smacks him away and he ends up going towards Blade and Blade slices him. And Scott's just stood there looking. And actually, I think he even says something like that was cool or something like that. So he is aware that Hank's there and he even helps to kill him and just nothing comes up with that. There's no mourning or anything. They just sweep it under the rug and they keep going, which is just a missed opportunity in my opinion, but it's what they went with. The Infinity Stone thing actually makes a little more sense. In Endgame, Thanos just used the stones to destroy the stones. But here the mix of vibranium molten core under Wakanda mixed with the stones, exposing these stones' raw power and basically killing everything around it. The stones are just containers. Like, that's it. There's the containers, which are the stones, and then there's the power in it. It makes no sense whatsoever that because the containers were destroyed in a different way, it would get a different result. At the end of the day, the containers are still destroyed and the energy is released into the universe. Thanos did it. Nothing happened. Here the stones get destroyed, something happens for some reason. It doesn't make sense. But, like, I'm just going to straight up say that it does not make sense. Either destroying the stones does nothing, or destroying the stones does something, and Endgame should have been a completely different film. But no one can make up their minds on how things work anymore. Spider-Man throwing Stormbreaker isn't as strong as Thor throwing Stormbreaker. Do you even think before you start saying stuff in your videos? Do you deadass think Spider-Man tossing an axe is the same thing as Thor empowering it with his lightning? Think. I never said anything about Stormbreaker being as strong when wielded by Spider-Man. I just pointed out that Thanos pointed the stone at it and destroyed it. Like, that is what happens in that. Whether or not Thor or Spider-Man is using it, it shouldn't be getting destroyed by the Power Stone, because we've seen it tank all 6 of the stones in the MCU movies. And here, it's just the Power Stone. That's it. Whether it's imbued with, Thor's magic at the time or not, it's this, like, extremely powerful artifact. It shouldn't be getting destroyed, but it does, and then it reappears later. It doesn't make any sense. This whole video is just wrong. Thank you very much for going in depth. I really appreciate that. So yeah, those are just a few little things that I just really wanted to get out about this video. Some people have made some corrections, and they are indeed corrections. I made some mistakes. Others, they're just kind of throwing their opinion in about what they enjoy about it, and they think it's better than what I say it is, and that's fine. I've never said you're not allowed to enjoy stuff. Everyone enjoys bad things. You know, I enjoy bad pieces of media as well. And, if you enjoy it and you think it's good to you, that's terrific. I'm happy for you. And then there's people who are just also getting stuff wrong or just not really going on anything except tangents, which doesn't help anyone whatsoever. So thanks for watching, lads and lasses. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bit different to what I usually do, so hopefully it was nice for your viewing entertainment. Please consider liking, subscribing, and checking out some of my other videos. Please share some of them. That always helps to get them in the algorithm and kind of help my channel along. I've got a Twitter if you want to reach out to me on there. I also have Discord. Occasionally I do Twitch, not that much. I do try and do YouTube live streams every now and again, but it has been a while. I should probably get back into that. Please consider Patreon or YouTube memberships if you want to help me out a bit more. But overall, I just hope you had a great day, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.